secret royal jewelry that you haven't seen. You've seen a lot of royal jewelry, so now we're going to show you some gorgeous royal jewelry that the media doesn't talk about. Blue Heart Diamond, romance set in stone. The tale of the Blue Heart Diamond is more than just a record of ownership. It is a century-long odyssey of luxury, romance, and intrigue. With its rare heart-shaped cut and mesmerizing deep blue color, it stands as one of the world's most exquisite diamonds, even if it never achieved the fame of the legendary Hope Diamond. In 1908, at the Premier Mine in South Africa, today known as Cullinan, miners unearthed a rough diamond weighing 100.5 carats. From this stone, sourced from the very mine that would also produce the world's largest diamond, came the gem that would become the Blue Heart. A year later, French jeweler Atanik Eknayan transformed the rough into a 30.62-carat heart-shaped diamond, a rare and romantic cut that instantly defined its identity. Its vivid blue hue and symbolic shape gave it the name it carries today. In 1910, Pierre Cartier acquired the stone and designed a breathtaking necklace adorned with lilies of the valley, placing the Blue Heart at its center. Soon after, the jewel traveled to Argentina, purchased by the Unzué family. In 1936, Maria Unzué gifted the necklace to her niece Angela González Alzaga as a wedding present, making it a family treasure. 17 years later, in 1953, Van Cleef and Arpels reimagined the Blue Heart, setting it into a pendant with two companion stones from Cartier's original design, a 2.05-carat pink diamond and a 3.81-carat blue diamond. That same year, the jewel passed into the hands of Swiss industrialist Baron Hans Heinrich Thyssen-Bornemisza. In 1959, the Blue Heart entered the collection of legendary jeweler Harry Winston, who placed it in a platinum ring. Surrounded by 25 colorless diamonds weighing 1.63 carats in total, the Blue Heart radiated more brilliantly than ever. The diamond's last private owner, American heiress and philanthropist Marjorie Merriweather Post, purchased the ring and in 1964 generously donated it to the Smithsonian Institution. It became a highlight of the National Gem Collection, where it remains to this day. In 1977, the Gemological Institute of America graded the Blue Heart as a fancy deep blue diamond with VS2 clarity, a stone with only the tiniest natural inclusions, nearly invisible to the naked eye. The Blue Heart is more than a gemstone. It is a story of journeys across 4 continents, of master jewelers from Cartier to Winston, and of the timeless allure of romance captured in a single blue flame of light. Emerald Radiance Crown Princess Victoria dazzles in green earrings at the Baltic Festival. On August 28th, Stockholm's Berwaldhallen Concert Hall opened its doors to the Baltic Festival, a celebration of classical music and Nordic culture. But amid the symphony of sounds, all eyes turned to one figure, Crown Princess Victoria of Sweden. Her entrance lit up the evening like a ray of hope. Greeted by Sveriges Radio's Director General Silla Benko and festival organizers, Victoria embodied grace, modernity, and timeless royal charm. For the occasion, the Crown Princess wore a stunning emerald green dress by Saloni, a choice as fresh and vibrant as summer itself. Flowing lines and a jewel-toned hue made her look like she had stepped out of a fairy tale. To complement this dazzling gown, Victoria selected earrings that became the true highlight of her ensemble. Long pendants set with 3 round green agates by Ebba Brahed Jewellery. Their design was simple yet regal, adding depth and sophistication to her look. These earrings are far more than just accessories. They have been part of Victoria's jewellery box since at least 2018, when she wore them to the Astrid Lindgren Memorial Award ceremony. Since then, they've resurfaced at carefully chosen moments, symbolising both continuity and elegance. The brand itself carries a story. Founded in 2013 by Charlotte Rammel, Ebba Brahe jewellery is named after the legendary lady-in-waiting, Ebba Brahe, whose beauty once captivated King Gustav II Adolf. By choosing these earrings, Victoria not only showcased Swedish craftsmanship, but also evoked a deep connection to her country's history. On her wrists, Victoria balanced her look with a golden bracelet by Edblad and a silver-toned favourite she has worn frequently in recent months. Finally, her engagement and wedding rings, symbols of eternal love and commitment, crowned her ensemble with quiet dignity. Victoria's style is never random. Every piece, the green dress symbolising life and renewal, the historical jewellery, the family rings, creates a narrative that merges tradition with modernity. At the Baltic Festival, she once again demonstrated her gift for blending elegance with symbolism. Her look was not only beautiful, it was meaningful. A portrait of a crown princess who knows how to honour history while shining brightly in the present. Grand Duchess Maria Theresa of Luxembourg's favourite jewel, the magnificent Chaumet necklace tiara. Every woman has a favourite piece of jewellery, something that holds meaning beyond its beauty. For Grand Duchess Maria Theresa of Luxembourg, that treasure is her remarkable Chaumet necklace tiara, a jewel that combines versatility, elegance, and royal splendour. What makes this Chaumet creation truly unique is its dual nature. It features a diamond lattice adorned with pearls, which, when assembled, forms a radiant tiara. Yet the lattice can also be detached and worn as a necklace, shimmering with understated grace. This ability to transform gives the piece a special place in royal history. It is not simply jewellery, but a jewel for every occasion. The tiara necklace first gained attention in the early 1980s, when the young Maria Theresa wore it for her official portrait shortly after marrying Grand Duke Henri in 1981. It immediately became a symbol of her role within the monarchy. She wore it again in 1983 at a glittering gala concert celebrating the birthday of Norway's King Olav V, and later at the coming-of-age celebrations for Princess Märtha Louise of Norway. With every appearance, the tiara grew more associated with her presence. When Henry ascended the throne in 2000, the Chaumet piece was already Maria Theresa's signature jewel. She wore it to Crown Prince Haakon of Norway's wedding in 2001, during an official visit to Denmark in 2003, and at Crown Prince Frederik of Denmark's wedding festivities in 2004. In 2005, she surprised the public by wearing a smaller version of the tiara necklace, pairing it with a sapphire necklace. The following year, she returned to the full tiara for King Carl XVI Gustaf of Sweden's birthday banquet. In 2009, it graced her visit to Italy, and in 2011, it sparkled at the Nobel Prize Royal Banquet. Its necklace form has also had memorable moments. In 2007, the Grand Duchess wore it at a banquet for King Harald V of Norway's Jubilee, pairing it with a floral tiara. The next year, she styled it with the Belgian scroll tiara, creating a combination hailed as perfection by royal watchers. One of the jewel's most iconic outings came in 2012, when her son, hereditary Grand Duke Guillaume, married Countess Stéphanie de Lannoy. At the wedding gala, Maria Theresa shone in her beloved Chaumet necklace tiara, a fitting tribute to both family and tradition. Although she briefly set it aside in favour of the Belgian scroll tiara, the Chaumet piece soon returned in 2013 at Crown Prince Frederik of Denmark's birthday celebrations, almost like a personal lucky charm. Today, the Chaumet necklace tiara is more than just jewellery. It is a reflection of Maria Theresa's journey, from a young bride to a respected Grand Duchess. Each time she wears it, the diamonds and pearls shine alongside the history she embodies. And without a doubt, we will continue to admire this breathtaking jewel for many years to come. The Edwardian necklace tiara of Crown Princess Mary, a jewel of elegance and history. Crown Princess Mary of Denmark may not have the largest royal jewellery collection, but each of her tiaras carries deep meaning. She already possesses the ruby set of Prince Frederick's grandmother, a diamond tiara gifted by relatives, and a tiara on long-term loan. Yet her most intriguing and talked-about piece is the Edwardian necklace tiara, a jewel of rare beauty and versatility. In a move unusual for royalty, Mary herself purchased this jewel at an auction. On March 1, 2012, at Brun Rasmussen in Copenhagen, she acquired a set consisting of a necklace, tiara and earrings. The catalogue described it as Lot 289, a diamond jewellery set consisting of a necklace and a later pair of earrings, adorned with numerous rose-cut and old mine-cut diamonds, round-cut rubies and spinels, set in 14-carat gold and silver. Necklace length 47 centimetres. Earring length 3 centimetres, missing one stone, circa 1900 to 1910. It also noted that the necklace was originally worn as a tiara, and it came in its original fitted case. Though estimated at €4,000 to €5,350, the set sold for €8,050 and found its way into the collection of Denmark's future queen. Before making its public debut, the jewel was carefully restored. A new frame was crafted and the missing gemstone replaced. Mary first wore it in 2015 at Queen Margrethe's 75th birthday celebrations in Aarhus, presenting it as a necklace paired with antique diamond earrings, a dazzling combination that drew much admiration. Less than a year later, the piece appeared in its tiara form at a gala dinner at Christiansborg Palace. Since then, it has graced Mary on numerous occasions, including the state visit of the Mexican president and the cover of Vogue Australia, celebrating her wedding anniversary. The peacock's shadow, the diamond. That outlived an empire, the last spark of a legend. In 1739, Delhi was drowned in blood. Persian ruler Nader Shah marched into the Mughal capital with his army and left with unimaginable riches. Among his spoils was the legendary peacock throne, crafted for Shah Jahan, the emperor who gave the world the Taj Mahal. The throne was said to rival the cost of palaces, and legends described it as a wonder in itself. Jewelers spent 7 years adorning it with gold, silver, and rare gems. Yet in Persia, its glory was undone, dismantled piece by piece, until the throne itself vanished into legend. At the heart of the throne lay a singular treasure, the Great Table Diamond. Its name comes from an ancient Indian style of cutting stones, the table cut. Unlike modern brilliant cuts that dazzle with fire, the table cut emphasized clarity, transparency, and depth of color. Flat and rectangular, such stones lost less weight in cutting and could be easily mounted on crowns, thrones, or weapons. It was this very simplicity that made them favorites among Persian rulers. When Nader Shah was assassinated in 1747, the Great Table Diamond passed to his grandson, Shahrukh Mirza. But the young ruler lacked his grandfather's authority, and soon the treasury was plundered. The diamond slipped from hand to hand before vanishing entirely, like so many treasures lost in times of upheaval. 2 centuries later, in 1965, Canadian researchers made a startling discovery while studying Iran's crown jewels. They examined 2 enormous pink diamonds, the Darya Ainur, Sea of Light, and the Nur ul Ain, Light of the Eye. Their conclusion: these 2 stones were once one, split from a single giant diamond. And very likely, that diamond was none other than the fabled Great Table Diamond, long thought lost. Thus, the spirit of the peacock throne, dismantled and scattered, still lingers in these 2 glowing gems, carrying within them the shadow of a vanished empire. The only surviving golden crown of a Chinese emperor, a treasure sleeping for 3 centuries, the golden-winged cap, Ishan, is a unique crown once belonging to Emperor Wanli, Zhu Yijun, the 13th ruler of the Ming dynasty. His reign, 1572 to 1620, the longest of the dynasty, marked both the height of imperial glory and the twilight before decline. For over 300 years, the crown lay undisturbed in the Dingling Mausoleum, part of the Ming tombs near Beijing. When archaeologists opened the burial chamber in 1958, they found it in a wooden box beside the emperor's remains, untouched, as if Wanli had only recently set it aside. The Yishan crown is far more than an ornament. It is a sacred emblem of power. 2 golden dragons, crafted from wire as thin as 0.2 millimeters, rise upward to form airy, wing-like fans. Their bodies are adorned with pearls and gemstones, with more than 8,400 golden scales meticulously worked by hand. In Chinese symbolism, the dragon, Long, represented the emperor, heavenly mandate, and the force of Yang, while the phoenix, Feng Huang, embodied the empress and the yin principle. Thus, the twin dragons on the crown proclaim Wanli's divine right to rule the empire. Despite its grandeur, the crown was light and breathable thanks to its filigree design, making it comfortable even for daily wear. But its true role was ceremonial. Each time Wanli placed it upon his head, he ceased to be a mortal man and appeared as the living incarnation of the dragon, a sacred, untouchable sovereign under heaven's protection. According to the ancient principle Shixi Ru Shi Sheng, serve the dead as the living, emperors were buried with the items they would need in the afterlife. Thus, the golden crown accompanied Wanli beyond the grave, ensuring he remained the son of heaven even in eternity. Material, pure gold, 826 grams. Dimensions, height 24 centimeters, diameter 20.5 centimeters. Design, double dragon playing with a pearl. Today, the Yishan crown is preserved in the Ming Dingling Museum in Beijing. It remains the only surviving golden crown of a Chinese emperor, a gleaming symbol of imperial majesty frozen in time. The Maharaja's emerald, a treasure. Wrapped in love, Indian jewels are more than ornaments, they are legends in stone. One of the most breathtaking of them all is the chalk emerald, a Colombian gemstone of over 37 carats, whose journey spans empires, palaces, and continents. From the Mughals to a Maharani, the emerald likely arrived in India in the 16th century, at a time when green was revered as the color of paradise and prosperity. It entered the treasury of the mighty Mughal emperors before passing into the hands of the Maharajas of Baroda. In the early 20th century, the stone was gifted to Princess Indira Devi. When she married in 1913 and became Maharani of Cooch Behar, she wore the emerald as part of her regal necklace. At royal ceremonies, the deep green glow of the gem highlighted her elegance and charm. A jewel reborn. After her time, the gem was inherited by her son, Maharaja Jagadipendra Narayan, who sold it in 1959. The famous jeweler Harry Winston acquired the stone and transformed it into a masterpiece, a platinum ring framed by 60 pear-shaped diamonds, the Chalk Legacy. In 1962, the emerald was purchased by New York businessman Oscar Roy Chalk, who gifted it to his wife Claire. From that moment, the gem became known as the Chalk Emerald. A charming anecdote says that when Claire once attended a White House reception where Queen Elizabeth II was present, she discreetly turned the emerald inward so as not to outshine the monarch's smaller emerald ring. A gift to the world. In the 1970s, the Chalks generously donated the emerald to the Smithsonian Institution. Today, the Chalk Emerald Ring resides in the National Museum of Natural History in Washington, D.C. It remains one of the most celebrated pieces of the collection, a jewel that carries within it the memory of empires, the grace of a Maharani, and the enduring magic of emerald green. The Coffee Bean Necklace, Grace Kelly's timeless elegance. When we think of iconic royal jewellery, Grace Kelly immediately comes to mind. Among her most beloved pieces was the Cartier Grand de Café necklace, a design inspired by the vibrant café culture of 1930s Paris. But this necklace isn't just beautiful, it has a story that spans Hollywood glamour, royal sophistication, and even the White House. Grace famously wore it during her visit to President John F. Kennedy in 1961. Photographs capture her in a striking green outfit and white hat, with the delicate gold necklace peeking elegantly from beneath her collar. It reappeared on numerous official occasions, always adding a touch of Parisian charm to her royal poise. The Grand de Café style was crafted under the creative vision of Jean Toussaint, Cartier's legendary director from 1933 through the 1970s. Immersed in the lively atmosphere of Parisian cafes, she was known for her dramatic turbans, flowing silk ensembles, and love of pearls. Toussaint's flair for bold, elegant design gave birth to the iconic Panther and Chimera collections, and the coffee bean motif was no exception. The beans themselves were usually crafted in yellow gold, occasionally accented with coral or diamonds. Their textured, ribbed surface added depth and movement to the pieces. The collection also included bracelets, earrings, brooches, and shorter necklaces built around the same motif. Yellow gold was more than just a design choice. During World War II, platinum was a restricted material, making gold the star of luxury jewellery. Grace Kelly wasn't the only famous wearer. Audrey Hepburn, for instance, also donned pieces from the Grand de Café collection on the covers of Harper's Bazaar. More recently, a suite from this iconic collection, once belonging to the Rothschild family, was acquired by Siegelson, keeping the legacy alive for a new generation of collectors. Today, Monaco watchers eagerly anticipate whether Princess Caroline, or perhaps her daughter Charlotte Casiraghi, will wear this legendary piece once more. The Grand de Café necklace isn't just jewellery. It's a symbol of elegance, history, and the timeless charm of Parisian sophistication, carried on the shoulders of some of the 20th century's most celebrated women. The incredible saga of the spoonmaker's diamond, from trash heap to sultan's curse, from dust to dazzle, the birth of a legend. The year was 1669, and the dusty, bustling heart of the Ottoman Empire, Istanbul, throbbed with life. Near the ancient walls of Tekfur Palace, once the pride of Byzantine emperors, now only a shadow of its former grandeur, the first act of an extraordinary drama quietly unfolded. The central character, unknown to history and perhaps even to himself, was a man from the very lowest strata of society, a poor soul, possibly a fisherman, whose name would never be remembered, scavenged through a fetid pile of refuse, searching for anything that might brighten his bleak existence. At that time, the crumbling environs of old palaces often turned into makeshift landfills, where shards of past luxury could sometimes be discovered among the filth. Fate, or perhaps mischief cloaked as fortune, smiled upon him. Amid decaying scraps and broken pottery, his hand brushed against something unusually solid and large. Drawing it into the sunlight, he beheld a jewel that sparkled so fiercely it took his breath away. Roughly the size of a pigeon's egg, maybe even a chicken's, irregular in shape, yet possessing an inexplicable inner fire, the stone seemed almost alive with light. The man wasn't a jeweler, but some instinct, born of desperation or natural intuition, whispered that this was no ordinary rock. It was far too exquisite, far too strange to be mere glass. With his heart pounding, he hid the treasure close to his chest and ventured to the nearest market, the lifeblood of the city, where fortunes were made and lost in a single day. The bazaar was a world unto itself, a labyrinth of narrow streets thrumming with the cries of merchants, the scent of spices, the shimmer of copper, and the cacophony of hundreds of voices. Among sellers of cloth, carpets, sweets, and ordinary wares, our poor scavenger approached a vendor of simple wooden spoons. Humble, practical objects far more understandable than the mysterious gleaming stone he clutched. Luck, it seemed, favoured him again. After a brief negotiation, the spoonmaker, perhaps intrigued by the stone's brilliance or simply wishing to rid himself of a persistent beggar, agreed to an exchange. For the jewel that would centuries later become one of the world's most famous diamonds, the poor man received 3 wooden spoons. At that moment, he likely believed he had struck the deal of a lifetime. Departing the bazaar, clutching his modest but practical spoils, he disappeared into history, leaving behind only the beginning of a legend. And the stone, plucked from the trash, began its ascent from dust to the dazzling heights of the imperial treasury, bizarre intrigues and the Sultan's glimmering prize. The spoonmaker, now the unsuspecting owner of an extraordinary gem, was slightly more cunning than the scavenger who had sold it to him. He did not linger long with the stone, but took it to a local jeweller, someone who could at least recognize a treasure when he saw one. The jeweller examined the gem carefully, understanding that it was no ordinary find, yet perhaps he did not fully grasp its true worth, or maybe he simply chose to play the customary market game. He offered the spoonmaker a modest sum, 10 akçe, small silver coins of the Ottoman Empire. Though paltry by any grand measure, for the spoon vendor this was a welcome windfall, and the exchange was swiftly concluded. Alone with the diamond, the first jeweller slowly realized that he held more than just a lucky discovery. This stone could be a fortune in itself, yet whether he lacked the funds or the connections to polish and sell such a prize, or whether his pride simply prevented him from yielding, remains uncertain. In any case, he soon brought the gem to a more renowned colleague. Was it to sell it, seek counsel, or merely flaunt his find? History is silent on his precise motive. The meeting of these 2 craftsmen, however, did not lead to a simple transaction. Instead, a fiery dispute erupted over the gem's ownership. Perhaps it was a clash of pride, or a disagreement over value, or the simple human greed for such a rare treasure. The commotion did not go unnoticed in the bustling ranks of Istanbul's jewelers. Word of the quarrel and the mysterious stone quickly reached the palace to the ears of the chief jeweler of the Sultan's court. This man, wielding immense authority in matters of precious stones, intervened immediately. Recognizing that such a jewel rightly belonged to the Sultan's treasury, he purchased the diamond from the disputing craftsmen, paying each a bag of akçe, a sum generous enough to end all disagreement. And so, after passing through the hands of a poor scavenger, a humble spoon vendor, and 2 bazaar jewelers, the diamond finally arrived where it was destined to be, within the glittering walls of the Sultan's palace. The gem's fame spread rapidly through the palace corridors. It reached the attention of Grand Vizier Ahmed Pasha Köprülü, the de facto ruler of the empire under the young Sultan. Known for his refined taste in both power and luxury, the vizier was undoubtedly tempted to claim the jewel for himself. But it was too late. When Sultan Mehmed IV, a ruler known for his love of hunting and appreciation of opulence, was presented with the dazzling diamond, he was overwhelmed with delight. Learning of its humble origins, plucked from a pile of trash for a mere 3 wooden spoons, the Sultan's humour and whimsy left a permanent mark. He named the stone Kaşıkçı, the spoon maker, forever linking it to its unassuming beginnings. This pear-shaped diamond, weighing 86 carats and surrounded by 2 rows of 49 smaller diamonds, became one of the crown jewels of the Ottoman treasury. Sultan Mehmed IV, enchanted by its brilliance and story, decreed that the spoonmaker's diamond was never to leave the Topkapi Palace. Its legend was officially chronicled by the court treasurer, Sarı Mehmed Pasha, in his historical record, giving the tale a stamp of authenticity, at least in the annals of the Sultan's court. The Ghost of Pigot and the Shadow of Ali Pasha, an alternative tale. Yet every fairy tale has its shadows, and the story of the spoonmaker's diamond is no exception. Beyond the gilded halls of Topkapi, a darker European version of events weaves a more tangled web, full of famous names and unsolved mysteries. According to this account, the spoonmaker's diamond may be none other than the lost Pigot diamond. The Pigot diamond, named after Lord George Pigot, twice governor of Madras in India during the mid-18th century, was one of the largest and purest diamonds of its time. Legends clung to it like a second skin. It was said to have been a gift from an Indian nabob or acquired under murky circumstances. After Lord Pigot's death in 1777, the gem was brought to London and sold at a Christie's auction in 1818. Beyond that point, its trail vanishes, giving rise to endless speculation about its fate. Some assert that this lost diamond eventually found its way to France. Here, the narrative becomes even murkier, tinged with intrigue and improbable connections. The name of the infamous adventurer Giacomo Casanova surfaces, though his involvement seems unlikely, as he died in 1798, well before the Christie's sale. A more plausible link might be Letizia Ramolino, Napoleon Bonaparte's mother. During her son's meteoric rise and the tumultuous years that followed, countless treasures passed through her hands. Could she have sold or gifted the diamond during the upheavals of post-revolutionary Europe? The story converges on another key figure, Ali Pasha of Tepelena, the so-called Lion of Ioannina. A cunning and ruthless Ottoman ruler of Albania and parts of Greece at the turn of the 18th and 19th centuries, Ali Pasha amassed a fortune through both guile and brutality. It is said that he became the last owner of the diamond before it ultimately reached the Sultan. In 1822, Sultan Mahmud II moved to end Ali Pasha's semi-autonomous rule, laying siege to his fortress in Ioannina. Anticipating his demise, the aging Pasha allegedly sent his treasures, including the famed diamond, to Istanbul, either as a gift or a final attempt to appease the Sultan. Soon after, Ali Pasha was killed. If this version is accurate, the spoonmaker's diamond did not arrive at Topkapi in 1669 under Mehmed IV, but more than 150 years later, during Mahmud II's reign, entwining its story not with a poor fisherman, but with European aristocracy, political intrigue, and the violent end of an Albanian ruler. Which version is true? Is the Ottoman spoonmaker's diamond actually the lost Pigot? Evidence is scant. The sizes and characteristics of the stones are similar, yet not identical in various accounts. Pigot's trail ends abruptly, while the spoonmaker's tale begins convincingly in Ottoman records. Perhaps they are two distinct diamonds, or perhaps the European story is simply a dramatic attempt to imbue the Ottoman jewel with a more illustrious lineage. The mystery endures, lending the diamond an additional layer of mystical allure. Dark glimmers and the eternal light of Topkapi. Like many famous gems with storied pasts, the spoonmaker's diamond is wrapped not only in brilliance but also in shadows of legend and superstition. Born from the filth of a trash heap and passing through countless hands, it is said to have absorbed not just light, but also the darker aspects of human nature, greed, envy, betrayal, and perhaps even a curse. Within the labyrinthine halls of Topkapi Palace, steeped in luxury and hidden intrigue, whispers circulated for centuries about the ominous fate of those linked to the diamond. Dark rumors often focused on the women of the Sultan's harem. It was said that any favorite or wife granted the privilege of wearing or even gazing upon the dazzling jewel inevitably became the target of envy and courtly machinations. Their fortunes at court, once ascending, could suddenly collapse, sometimes under tragic circumstances. Was this truly the diamond's curse, its icy beauty attracting misfortune? Or were these tales merely echoes of the fierce political and personal rivalries that always simmered within the harem, where a favorite's status was as dazzling as it was precarious? Possessing such a symbol of the Sultan's favor, the spoonmaker's diamond naturally incited jealousy among rivals. Perhaps the stone was merely a silent witness, not the cause, of the tragedies surrounding it. Definitive answers remain elusive, and no contemporary records confirm a literal curse. Yet the legend endures, adding a shiver of mystery to the diamond's cold, unwavering brilliance. Today, the spoonmaker's diamond reigns as the crown jewel of the Topkapi Palace treasury, now a museum open to the world. Displayed under bulletproof glass, surrounded by other relics of the Ottoman era, its 86 carats of pure carbon, pear-shaped and framed by 2 rows of 49 smaller diamonds in old-cut settings, continue to captivate millions of visitors each year. Its light is unquenchable, reflecting not only the rays of museum spotlights but centuries of history. From a trash heap near the Byzantine palace walls to the Sultan's treasury, from a trade for 3 wooden spoons to one of the world's most renowned diamonds, the gem has witnessed empires rise and fall, wealth and poverty, love and hatred, intrigue and tragedy. It guards the secrets of its past, whether discovered by a poor fisherman or passed through the hands of European aristocracy, and remains silent on the fates of those who owned it or admired it. The spoonmaker's diamond stands as an eternal symbol of fate's astonishing twists, a reminder that the greatest treasures often lie in the most unexpected places. Its brilliance may bring joy, yet its history hints at shadows and omens. A custodian of Topkapi's mysteries, it continues to enchant, awe, and spark the imagination. A diamond whose light is not only seen, but felt, carrying the weight of centuries and stories untold.